If you're a people pleaser, you might be able to relate to this picture. The little guy is the people pleaser. And this picture is a representation of how he sees himself. He's smaller and less important than everyone else. He therefore places their opinions, especially about himself, above his own. You'll also see that he's tethered to all of the people in the picture by an approval cord. Two things flow through that cord. One is approval. This is his oxygen supply. He needs it to feel like he's a good person, that he's useful, that he matters. And since he doesn't know how to validate himself, he gets validation through the cord. The other thing that flows through the cord is like poison. It's disapproval. He will do anything possible to avoid disapproval. In fact, disappointing others is his worst fear, because to him, disapproval would mean that he's a bad person. So in his mind, the people pleaser relies on people more important than himself to tell him he's good and worthy, and he's terrified of hearing even a hint that that might not be true. And I'll return to him in a minute. So people pleasing is a complex topic, and what I just described is a bit of an oversimplification. I know that. But sometimes, to get a better grasp on the crux of a problem so that we can get to potential solutions, it's useful to clear away all of the noise and focus on the main points. I do have other videos on the channel about people pleasing and nice guy syndrome, if you're interested in looking at other aspects of those issues. And I'll have more to come. I do plan on having some more solution-based videos, just so that you know. The channel's still pretty new, so I'm finding my way here, doing my best. I appreciate your feedback. And I'd love to hear from you in the comments about what you can relate to most in this video. So let's back up a second and imagine a self-aware guy who is kind and considerate, but who values himself and has healthy boundaries. This is a healthy non-people pleaser. And this is someone most people would see as a good person who cares about himself as well as others. He's probably well respected. And I don't really need to show you a picture of him because he's standing with the men and women in his life as an equal. He's not figuratively smaller than them. There's no approval cord connecting him to the others. He has a healthy sense of self. If he's asked to do things for others or just feels like expressing kindness, he automatically knows that he's doing those acts because he wants to, even if they're inconvenient for him. He believes in being generous and giving, but he has boundaries around it. And he may appreciate a simple thank you, but he's not looking for anything in return. He's not trying to gain anyone's approval or avoid their disapproval. He's not secretly hoping that their mood or behavior will change because of what he's doing. There's simply no hidden agenda. However, he also knows when he really doesn't want to do something, or maybe doesn't have the time to do it and doesn't want to overcommit himself, and he knows that he can politely decline or just not overextend himself to begin with. He might experience a brief wave of disappointment that he couldn't be more helpful in some situations, but at his core, he knows he's still worthy. In his mind, he's okay. And when asked for his opinion or preference about doing something, he's honest. He doesn't try to second guess what the other person wants him to say or what would make him look more agreeable. And you see, the easiest way to tell if an act is genuine kindness or whether it's people-pleasing isn't the act itself, it's the intention behind the act, whether it's done simply for the sake of the thing or to get something in return. So let's go back to our people-pleaser. Because he's held hostage to those approval cords invisibly attached to those around him, he's never able to fully just be himself. Those closest to him don't even fully know him. He probably doesn't feel seen, and in some ways may not even know who he is or what he wants. And that's why learning to get comfortable with disapproval is so crucial in getting better from people-pleasing. The only way out of this prison is for him to learn to make peace with disapproval. And this doesn't mean he'll ever like it, but the more he can start chipping away at it, the weaker the signal in the approval cord will become, and the more he'll be able to start hearing his own voice, validating himself, and showing up as his true self instead of playing a role. So, like a lot of things, the solution is easy to understand intellectually, but of course it takes sustained practice over time to actually produce results. So let me rephrase that. The only way out of the fear is through it. And it's the same idea as overcoming social anxiety or a phobia. Repeated exposure to small doses of the feared situation just outside of your comfort zone is how you make progress. And for people pleasing, that means starting small, but being honest when you really do or don't want to do something. It means starting to set better boundaries and saying no to things you don't have time to do or you don't want to do. So, for example, you could start by saying no to a request that feels small but still triggers your fear, like declining an invitation you're too tired to accept. Or maybe you'll speak up in a group discussion. And when you start speaking up, you're going to feel very uncomfortable. You're addicted to the approval drug, and you're going to go through withdrawal at first. Learning to experience and notice those feelings and just allowing yourself to sit with them until they subside will help you get through this. And for those of you familiar with the concept of mindfulness, that's what I'm talking about. If you had told me the things in this video 10 or 20 years ago when being a nice guy people pleaser was a way of life for me, I probably would have had a mixed reaction. It probably would have been denial and shame. I didn't used to be able to admit my faults to myself or others. I might have admitted that I was tethered to others by an approval cord to some degree, but I probably would have minimized that. I might have had trouble admitting that I was elevating the opinion of others about myself above my own opinion. But I know, if I'm honest, I learned through my own work on myself that those were major problems I struggled with. And if you see yourself in what I've described in this video, congratulations. That's the first step. You're not a bad person or inherently flawed. You're probably still using methods you learned in childhood to keep the peace and feel loved. We don't consciously choose strategies like this. We just figure them out because they work for us at some point. It's how we survive. It's how we get our needs met. The problem is, if we're not aware of them as we grow up, they become part of our default operating system, even though we've really outgrown the need for them. Now, if you've already awakened to the fact that people-pleasing nice guy behavior is holding you back, congratulations as well. You're not alone in this journey. It's not easy. It's a messy, slow progression, but you owe it to yourself and to those closest to you to learn to eventually just be you. No more pretending. It takes time and practice, but you absolutely can work through this. If this video has been helpful, please like it. Be sure to subscribe for more content like this. Like I said, I'm going to make more videos related to this topic. I appreciate you watching. Have a good day.